Is Slugger a good skill to use on your hammer builds? Does it have a major impact when hunting monsters? Does the stun happen more often with the skill equipped? These are some questions I looked up online, but I never received a definitive answer. In this video, I will be breaking down the infamous question, what is the best skill to use on Hammer and Monster Hunter Wilds? I know I started the intro off with Slugger, but there are other skills I am curious about as well. Okay, first, if you're trying out Hammer, or didn't know, let me inform you that Hammer is one of the two weapons that are blunt weapons. Blunt weapons are weapons that deal stun damage, and they only can proc stun damage by attacking the monster's head. The second weapon is Hunting Horn. But we do have some weapons that aren't blunt weapons, but they do have a stun effect with their attack. Weapons like Greatsword, Sword and Shield, and Charge Blade. With Greatsword, you have the shoulder tackle. Consistently hitting the head can indeed knock the monster into a stun effect. With Sword and Shield, it's the shield bash move, and with Charge Blade, it's guard point. Okay, now that you understand that, there are skills that help the weapon inflict stun faster on the monster. Slugger, and specifically for Hammer, Charge Up. Also off topic, I looked up Charge Up on Google and it states the jewel is for Charge Blade, but the description for the jewel in Wilds states, increase the power to induce stun when you hit a monster with the Hammer's charge attack. Unless I'm missing something, I don't know what Google's trying to tell me. Comment down below what y'all think. Back to the video. The percentage of Slugger to activate at level 1 to level 3 is 20% at level 1, 30% at level 2, and 40% at level 3. On the other hand, Charge Up doesn't have a percentage since the effect doesn't increase. Now, these are not the only jewels I'm going to be using for this test, but I'm going to start with these two first. Starting off with no Slugger on this weapon, I want to see how many times I can proc stun on this test monster. So, with no Slugger, I have proc the stun effect 3 times. With Slugger, I have proc the stun effect 3 times as well, but the procs were a lot faster with no Slugger. Though, even with the procs happening faster, it still stayed consistent at 3 times. The test shows that you will gain the same effect of stun in different intervals, but the longer the hunt, you might gain 1 or 2 more stuns on the monster with Slugger level 3 active. That's not a bad thing at all, since it opens up the monster for free damage. But what if I use a damaging jewel instead to do more damage, since I'm going to have around the same amount of stun effect? Before we answer that, it's time for test 2. Now, we all know monster has weaknesses and resistances to certain elements. They also have it as well with secondary weapon effects. I'm going to be testing out not only how much stuns I can gain on a monster with high stun resistance, but how fast I can complete a hunt against this monster. The monster in this test is the newest title update star, Lagiacrus. Now, I want to let you know, I am not a speedrunner. I am what I would say pretty decent at the game, and I just picked up Hammer this title update since Hammer received amazing buffs. Now that all my excuses are out the way, I want to say I'm thankful for everyone coming to watch this video. I see all the comments, I try to respond to them, but like you, I have to continue my everyday life. I just want to say I am grateful for everyone that watches me, enjoys, and or dislikes the video. I love criticism since it helps me improve. I'm done rambling. That's all. Now, we've completed that hunt in 9 minutes and 30 seconds with 3 stuns. It looks like 3 might be the average number. Okay, now let's see with the Slugger jewel equipped. 4 stuns with the time of 8 minutes and 16 seconds. It could have been quicker, but I had to handle a long disputed beef. With 1 extra stun, it did allow me to gain a little over 1 minute off my time. Though it clearly shows against blunt resistant monsters, there's no difference. So that's a part of my question completed. Now it's time for the Charge Up skill. I'm not going to be doing the test on Chotacabra. Instead, I'm going to be doing on Lagiacrus again, and then a monster that's weak to stun attacks. 4 stuns with the time of 9 minutes and 45 seconds. To be fair, it would have been 3 stuns if I didn't miss the falling rocks and the barbed iron in the water. That would have cut my time down to 1 minute, making it around 8 minutes and 45 seconds. So yeah, I said against stun resistant monsters, it doesn't make a big difference. It's better to use a damaging jewel than Slugger and Charge Up on stun resistant monsters. For the final test, it's a monster that is weak to stun, And the follow-up monster to this title update, Lagiacrus, aka Steve. Now, with no Slugger active, we gain 3 within the time of 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, with all that testing, yes, even with charge up, it seems like we can't get past the 3 stun mark. Next, with Slugger equipped. Let's see if there's a big difference with Slugger equipped. 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Could have been faster if I made different moves. Now, with all that testing, yes, even with charge up, I've gained around the same KOs. The difference between all 3 equips with max Slugger, you gain KOs faster. Charge up max, you will gain KOs pretty quickly, and no KO jewels, you still gain the same amount of KOs as if you had the jewels on, but it takes some time to get. So is Slugger on the weapon viable in your hunts? The answer, no. And yes, it is not necessary to have on your builds. It only helps gain the KOs faster for quick damages, though it is not 100% necessary on your builds depending on the monster you fight if it's resistant against blunt weapons. Now, I'm not going to show you the best hammer build since I like to do the math on a build to see if it's the best or not. But these are the best damaging jewels you should use for hammers. Max crit boost, or at least level 3. Crit draw only for specific type of playstyle. And ratio sharp to keep your sharpness max per crit for the most damage. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment down below of how you feel, and have a nice day. Peace.